Let's take a look at a purl stitch. Prepare to knit. In this case, for purl, you put the working yarn in the front of the needle and you insert the needle from the back to the front, crossing over the X and sliding the new loop off. You have to keep that working yarn in front unless you want to do a knit stitch. And you'll notice that it makes almost like a bar right there, straight across. Well, on the other side, it will make a V. And I've been doing different things on this, so you can see down here I did something else, right? But on the other side, it will make a V. So let's do a few more of these. Again, from the back to the front, cross over the X, slide the new loop off. And I don't know if you can see, but I have my yarn kind of trapped to help increase the tension a bit. And as I go, I'll spread these stitches out, check for an even tension. So looking at all the little bars. If you forgot and you put it to the back and did a knit stitch, that looks quite different. And if you want to go back, you can pull it back out. Remember to flip the working yarn to the front and go back in and fix it. Likewise, if you accidentally were to drop one stitch, you see how that little extra bit is in front? So you could kind of pinch and get it back on the needle, the old one back on the needle, and then you just knit into that old loop and stick it back on and continue on. Almost at the end here. And then we'll turn over and look at the back. So the side that you just worked on for doing purl, it has all these little bars, and the other side, if you look at where we just worked, it has the V's. So what will it look like if we put a knit stitch on this side? That would be interesting to find out. What if you do a purl stitch on top of this? Interesting to find out. I would recommend at this, when you're first practicing purl, that you do the whole row before you switch again. Think about what you're going to do and just do stripes, the whole thing, so that you can really start to see. You can see here I did something different, and so this side it looks like purl, and it creates a bit of a texture. So by playing around with it a bit, you can create some interesting textures. It's a bit on accident by just playing around, but I think when you're first starting, it's better to just play than to try to get something specific. You can look at examples over here. This is knitted in the round, so it's a bit different, but you can see how texture can be achieved by just going back and forth between a knit and a purl stitch. And you can have something like this texture is going back and forth. You can see there's a purl and there's a knit in between, and there's some purls stacked together. This has been worn recently, but so playing with that texture, you can see here's a whole line of several purls, purl rows, and then in between them is a knit row. This looks like it's a checkerboard between knits and purls. And sometimes you can do even just a section where you're mostly doing knit in one area and you're doing knit in one area and purl in another. So something to play with. Here's another one. I don't know if you can see that, but the texture of this comes from alternating knits and purls. And so this would be a second project after you have gone through and done something where you're focusing on the rows, getting stripes of knit and purls and seeing what combinations they make. Then you could focus on an overall texture like basket stitch, or seed stitch is what this is, seed stitch. Okay, happy purling.